everybody, I'm Salesforce Jen, and I like to talk about Experience Cloud. And today specifically, we're going to talk about creating the footer on your Experience Cloud site, whether it's a portfolio or a site for a client. I am specifically talking about the Aura site where you have a template. If you are looking or working with an LWR or a Lightning Web Runtime site, go find my video for the Lightning Web Runtime site. It is different. So right now, if you've never created an Experience Cloud site, you want to be familiar with the builder, which is where I'm sitting. So you can go to my playlist on Experience Cloud site setup step by step and do that first. Otherwise, you should be familiar with where we are, which is the builder. So when you land on your home page, it may look a little different depending on the theme you picked, but it's essentially the same across the board with all the themes. You scroll to the bottom and there's sections, okay? So we have a section down here that is, let's go back to the bottom, a content footer and a template footer. There's a difference between those. If you do the content footer, that's just what's at the bottom of that particular page, the home page. It won't persist on other pages. But if you go to the template footer, that'll persist across your entire website. So a lot of times they have copyrights and different things down there. So if I look at my portfolio real quick and you look at the bottom, I have these icons that go to different places, okay? And I'll tell you how to create those in just a little bit, but we're going to start with something even easier. If you don't know how to code, it's not your thing, you don't need to know how. There's a couple different things. You could do a rich content editor or a WYSIWYG editor. So if I go to the top left to the lightning bolt where it says components and I click on that, let's get my image out of the way. Get it over here. There we go. And we're going to type in rich. So I'm going to look for a rich content editor. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to drag it down into the footer. Now, when you're working at the bottom of the screen like this, you may have limitations where it's going to hide stuff. It's a little bit hard. So you'll just have to get used to that. But I'm in this rich content editor. I can click on it like that and I get my WYSIWYG editor. So I click on that. And there's two ways to reach it. I can hear a component opens up right here. And I can hit edit content, or I can go down there and click again. So I'm going to click edit content. So now I have my WYSIWYG editor. So there was already text in here. Let's just move it over. Let's make it centered and let's just make it a lot bigger. And see, this is what I mean. This is kind of in the way down here. There we go. And we can see that. Preview it. There's really no background. I could just say this is a sample site. I could say anything I want down there. Okay, and then let's preview what happens when we go to mobile view. And we'll scroll down. And this is whatever I wrote. Replace this content with what you own. The other way you could do it is you could create an image. So the width, if you were going to do this by hand, like you go to Canva or some kind of PicMonkey editor, it's 1920 across and you can make it as high as you want. And I say 1920 is the pixels. And so I created one in Canva, a very basic one. It's 1920 pixels across and 75 in height. So instead, I'm going to go back down to the footer. I'm going to hover over that text and just put in my image. So I'm going to click over here. I've already uploaded it. It is right here. And let's scroll down and let's preview that. So it says if you need help, please email, and it's Jennifer Copyright. I put a little image in there. It's kind of basic. If I go to another site or excuse me, another page like contact support page, it shows up. Okay, it's always placed at the bottom depending on how much content you have. The only problem with that when you put an image in there is the resizing when you go to mobile or desktop. So let's try that. Let's go up here to the top right where we're previewing it and go to tablet. And let's see what that looks like. See how it shrank it? That's not very good for the user. Let's go to mobile and see what happens. So again, we have the same problem. It shrank too much. So it's not necessarily the best user experience. And most people are using tablets or mobile devices anyway. So be careful of that. So you could just write something in there. So another alternative, let me show you mine. Over here on my site, if I resize it, let's go over here, it stays the same size, even though it appears to be an image. So I'm going to show you how I did that. So on my particular site, well, let me go back over here on the one we're working on. Let's go to the home page. And then I'll scroll down to the bottom, and I'm just going to delete this component. Okay. So on my site, I used an HTML editor. Okay. And I'm going to show you, if you go to my site, it's linked at the bottom of the video, go to the menu and go to the page that says Build Your Brand. On this page, there is a link called Social Media Links in the footer. If you click on that, this guy just talks you through it. Super cool, super easy, gives you the code. You don't even have to know how to code to do that. You can do that by doing that, okay? So let me show you over here. Let's go to the components, top left with the lightning bolt, and we're going to type in HTML, and then it shows us this HTML editor. We're going to hold on that, click it, drag it to the template footer right here. Remember, it's not the content footer, it's the template footer. Let's see, it took a minute. It didn't grab it. So we're going to do that again. Every once in a while, that does happen. There we go. See, I needed to wait for it to light up like that pink. Okay, there we go. All right. So now you can see on the top of the page right here where my mouse is circling, we have a component editor that showed up, and we have this. So I want to hit Edit Markup. And I'm just going to paste in some code that I have. And basically what this code is doing is making a pink background and just some words. Super, super simple. Okay. We'll hit save. So I can see this. It's covering the whole background. I can preview it. The benefit to this is what happens when we resize. Let's go to a tablet size and see what that looks like. Footer looks fine. And let's go to the mobile. See, it's resizing accordingly in that HTML. So that is where the benefit is to use an HTML editor. You do have to know a little bit of coding, but one simple thing is you can ask ChatGPT for help. So there's a couple caveats to that. Let's go back to desktop view. If you ask ChatGPT, you say, can you write some HTML? And I want the background to be pink, and I want these words, and I want them centered on it. Well, that's great, except ChatGPT is going to give you some long code. Let me click on this so you can see the code. ChatGPT, you paste in what they have, and they'll have some what we call tags. Oops, let me spell right. We have a style tag, and let me put an end tag. And what happens is you're going to paste in what ChatGPT gives you, and you're going to start getting these. And right here it says the style tag is not allowed. Because ChatGPT will give you style, body, HTML, and a couple other things. You'll paste it in, and it says it's not supported. If you don't know what to do for there, all you do is you reply back to ChatGPT and say, and you name all the ones that have red, like so the style, then it'll say body, whatever ones you have in there, say those tags are not supported. ChatGPT will write it out, and it should look like this, and you won't have any problem. Okay, so that's a little tip from them. Sometimes people are going to put different things in here. If you're really good at coding, you can insert images and do different things. So that's clearly up to you. But it's very easy to add a footer. Just make sure you're placing it at the very bottom so it persists across the site. Make sure that you check it in mobile and tablet because so many readers are on that. And you can either use your rich text or your HTML, although the HTML does present better. And again, remember on my site, you go to the Build Your Brand page and go to Social Media Links in a footer, and you can customize it there without having to know how to code. Good luck.